Now, everybody usually smokes a pork butt just to get some pulled pork. But what if I told you it's a better way? Today, we doing smoked pork carnitas on the Weber Kettle grill with the heart of charcoal. Come on. And this one is where this begins. We're talking pork carnitas, ladies and gentlemen. And we're starting off with a whole pork butt here. Just about 8.5 pounds. I wish I would have been able to get this one without the bone, but at the end of the day, we'll get right around it. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to start, get this out the package, get it cleaned up. I'm going to cut this into some larger chunks, and from there, we'll dice it up into some nice big clunks of some pork butt, keeping all my fat and everything. And then from there, we're going to be seasoning these babies up with a little bit of my Chef Marito fajita mix, as well as I got a little house secret here. This is some homemade taco seasoning that I got from a close friend of the family that we're going to be adding in here. I think that's going to give it some great earth tones and really add to that color and the overall flavor of this baby right here. But first things first, I'm going to get this out the package, and we'll get the knife work going. Here we go, one quick look out of the package. This is a good looking pork butt here, nice and solid. Not too much extra fat, but enough to make good carnitas and give us something to cook out of. Here's the old bone. So it shouldn't be too hard to cut outside of this bone, but let's hack this thing out. Just about there. So this is basically the bone cut out here, and I'm actually end up throwing this baby on there too, and we'll get what we can off of there. But basically, this is the meatier part. I'm not just gonna let that go to waste, though, of course. The meatier parts is what we after. I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the rest of the majority of this thing right here. This was the bone parts that I cut out and that I cut away from it, and then I'll bring you right back and we'll get some more of those. And this is what I'm looking for. Pretty much some bigger clumps. This one I might actually cut in half. It was one of the early pieces. That way they're somewhat uniform, but I got all that good fat in there, all those connective tissue pieces. Good looking pork butt, lots of good fat. We'll get seasoning all the way around, but I'm gonna lift up the edges on this barbecue tub here, and we're gonna get to seasoning these babies up. Okay, and first thing I'm doing is I'm coming over the top with some of this fajita seasoning, some of this Chef Marito. This is a great seasoning here, great flavor. A little bit of limey and stuff in there too. And at the end of the day, you can go pretty heavy. This is thick meat. Okay, that looks decent for this side. And then we got my special blend of taco seasoning here. Look how beautiful this is right here. I want to give a special thank you out to my friend that got this for the family. I won't use this too heavy, but let's get some of these beautiful notes in here. So really add in some more of that cumin and some of those earth tone flavors that I think is really going to bring this thing out. Don't want to go too heavy on that. All right, I'm going to massage this in and give it a flip. Okay, and now I want to repeat this process. Let's hit it once again with some of the fajita seasoning. Better. And now we're going to finish up with the special taco seasoning. There we go. Look at that beautiful color. Let me give these another mix around, flip them around a few times in here, and then I'm going to close this up and these going to hang out while we go ahead and get this pit together. Outside, let's get this fire going. Grill's pretty much cleaned up and ready to go. We rolling with some of that good old-fashioned charcoal. Now, what I like to do is these briquettes, both of them being lump charcoal, but the briquettes are very compact. They are better to control when you're doing sometimes with the smoke, and then being able to add some of this on. So usually I want to start, or for me, I want to start with the briquettes, and then I will add in a little bit of this lump charcoal, some of these different size pieces. They're just trying to give me some of that smoke, just adding in there. So into the old charcoal chimney and a fire we will go. And that's good enough for a fire. Let's see if we can pour these out without making too much of a mess. Try not to do too many coals, because at the end of the day, I only need to get a good 250 to 300 degrees, which don't take too much. So we're only going to rock on one side, and then we'll get indirect on the other. Let me get this closed up. There we go. We had a little bit of a light bit of coals in there, but you can already see we got some smoke coming up out of here. Got a good brush down going already on the grill grates. Let's close it up and let it get warm. All right, we should be rolling good. We're sitting at about 250 and rolling upward a little bit. Smoke's nice and clean coming out of there from that harder charcoal. Gotta love that. And then we just gonna slide right over here. Oh. As you can see, all of that color has kind of set in a little bit. I already got that beautiful redness. If you could smell this, I can really smell that fresh mix that was made, because you can really smell the cumin and everything that was in there. But let's get these babies on here. I gotta get this moving. Oh, the pig is on the old grill. We got this thing laid out chunks on chunks. Tighter than I would probably like it, but it'll be just fine. Really, I'm just getting a little smoke, a little bit of color. You can see this charcoal is now kicking off and rolling like I needed to. So I'm gonna get this thing closed up fast before I get too hot. But I'll come back in here and peek at it about a half hour or so, show you what we looking like. And team, I'm just jumping in to let you know I appreciate you watching today's video. Go to that bottom right corner, make sure you subscribe, check out my whole channel and some of them other videos you've missed. And if you haven't done it, find me on Facebook, IG, and TikTok. Let's go. A little over an hour, we're gonna take a peek here. Look like we're at about 275-ish, which is nice. I see some good looking color starting up over here, which is good. It's nice and slow. I'm not trying to rush this. I'm gonna let it take its time and go ahead and get all of this good smoke. And we probably won't be pulling it, more or less I'm going for color, but if I was looking at a temp, it's probably gonna be a good 175-ish. And real quick, what I decided to do, as you can kind of see, I just got done poking these babies and doing a little bit of temping. And actually, I'm sitting at about 150. So one thing I do want to do before I get out of here is I'm going to give everybody a rotation. I'm going to flip everybody upside down. And I want to at least hopefully get another hour on here of smoke and keep getting us a little bit more deeper color. All right, and while we're waiting for that pork to finish up out there, we're going to go ahead and start getting some of these things together inside. This is super simple as far as the process, or at least what I'm going to be doing today. Not doing it the full-on traditional way with carnitas, where I would have got some pork fat and fried them, crisped them up and everything. Instead, we're just going to be smoking them. We'll bring them in, but I did make sure I grabbed the glass bottle right here, the Mexican Coca-Cola. It's crazy because it's literally a Mexican Coca-Cola when you see it, when you find it in a grocery store. Got me a couple oranges that I'll be loosening up. They're seedless, but you'll get the juice from 2 of these, and I'll keep one to actually add in. We'll add in probably about 4 bay leaves. I'm a fan of having some garlic, so I'll crush up a few pieces of garlic to toss in there. And then with the onion, all white onion, all we're going to do is break this down into a quarter. And once I grab those off, we're going to be going right back in here into the big boy pan or pot, and then we're gonna be putting them back out there to simmer dimmer. Let me do some chopping. So it has been a couple hours and I'm still rolling along at about that 275-ish, 60-ish range. You can see what we're looking like after I flipped them over. Nice looking color. I definitely could have kept going longer, but in the essence of time, this couple hours is gonna have to be good enough because I'm a little short on my time. Things that you could have did. Obviously, let these babies sit out here and get as colorful as you like, get as much smoke as you want. And I could have easily came over there and seared these babies off real quick and gave them a little bit of color butter, which actually I think I might do. Just since in the essence of time, since I'm not going to stay out here and get the whole smoke that I might have got normally, even though I'm about at time and I didn't want to overly cook them, I'll give them a quick second to sear, and then we're coming up off of here. All of these big chunks smelling great, good little bit of color, and we just give them a quick second over this fire just to have some fun. But normally you could obviously had your fire back roaring, really went ahead and seared these things off hard, but at the same time I don't want to overcook them too early because they're going to be doing a lot of simmering here in the pot. We're just kind of getting this first level of flavor on here, kind of getting things going, and we're gonna move on. And then I'm starting with the big boy, so I make sure he gets submerged, get him off there in the corner, nice and smoky, lots of flavor and a lot of cooking left to go. And let's go grab some more of these chunks of goodness. As you bring them out here into this heat, into the light rather, you can see some of that color that's been flowing on these things. All of them got that pretty red looking color. Get in there and get arranged. I'm charring up the last couple pieces, adding in the last few. Obviously we getting full, looking good. Look at that. These things smell amazing. Almost feel like I'm pulling off oxtails. All of these babies. It's a pretty one. Right there, nestled in. Look at that. We're gonna get there. And then we got our final homie that we're gonna add to the party. You can get right up in there. Put you that way. Alright. Now, we got that out the way. Now we're gonna be adding in our Mexican Coca-Cola. Add that whole one in. You can see that didn't add too much liquid. Little Dos Equis. There we go, and that'll kind of round me out. I got about 5 garlic cloves that I'm gonna be tossing in here. Just kind of drop in there throughout. I got a quartered onion, as you can see, and I'm just kind of stuffing in there whole. Some flavor Energon cubes. And we'll add in there. I got 2 navel oranges, beautiful. I'm gonna be giving you the juice for, and a couple of them we're gonna actually toss in there. And these last 2, I'm just gonna get the juice. And that's it. You have to pardon my reach. I'm trying to get it all as best I can. And yeah, some good juicy oranges. We're gonna turn this into a citrus splash. All right. Check it out, check it out. All I need now is my bay leaves. And I'm gonna tuck a couple small ones. I was gonna go for about 4. But since I got a couple small ones that I grabbed out, I'll take them too. Always just like the look of one sitting out there. All right, there we go. We're gonna close this thing back down. I'm gonna put some extra charcoal in here and pump this thing up. We're gonna throw the top on and we're gonna let this thing simmer dimmer. I'm gonna bring y'all back in about an hour and I'll let you see how the change up happens. All right, got my extra charcoal added. Oof, oof, oof. You go ahead and I'll holler back. All right, just making a run and getting back over here, a little over an hour. Still burning strong. Now, one thing I like about this is it has this top so you don't gotta worry about too. Wow, the smell that just came out of there and hit me. Look at that color. I know I got a little shade there, but you can see that liquid didn't turn some colors. I'm gonna give this a little move around and we're gonna let everything keep going. All right, and I can tell, wow, yeah, we're probably pretty close already. Those is pretty tender, but I'm gonna let you get into that water and let some of y'all that have been down there in that juicy juice come on out here to the top and play. Hopefully I don't break you all apart. Oh, that was that bone piece. That's why that's in there so strong. I can smell that beer mixed in with that citrus. These is pretty tender. I'm gonna temp a couple of these in a second. I know some of these ones that wasn't so submerged I want to get in here, but it seemed like we might be close to that 200-degree mark. So let me move everybody around and we'll check it out. Nothing else, I'm in no rush now, so I'll let them keep stewing. There we go, and I moved them all around. I can tell you something, I don't even need to temp them. When I can do this and tear something off, I know I'm sitting at about that 200 degree mark, but I'm gonna let them coast a little bit longer. A couple of these are still a little tight. Like I said, I had the ones that was on top that didn't get submerged in this water, so I'm gonna let it have a little bit of fun, and we'll let it kind of finish up, but we almost home. All right, we've been simmering for quite a while. Oh, you can see much more of that juice and oil than came to the top, so I know, as I can even see right here with this one already broke apart, this is gonna be super duper tender, and the smell coming out of here is legit. I'm gonna close it back up. We're gonna bring it in the house, and I'm gonna let it chill for about an hour before it's almost game time to get these kids here. Alright, so I've given this thing more than enough time to simmer. As we getting closer to the time to get this party rocking, I got my broil going on my oven, and I'm gonna be using my griddle tray that you see right here, or pan. And what we're gonna do is get this a little bit crispy. Ooh yeah, look how much juice got released with all that fat rendering down. A lot more, and you can see that nice dark rich color we got in there. I'm going to pull a couple of these babies out, and it shouldn't be, ooh, that smell, shouldn't be too much nothing. We just bring them right over there and be able to kind of swoosh them with the tongs, and we'll let them get a little crispy, and I'll hit them with just a little bit more of that fresh taco seasoning. Grab my tongs, and we're gonna grab, yeah, falling apart already. Drip off some of that juices. Go in here for another. I think that just broke in half on me. It's a great sign. Get the other piece. You can sit down there in that juice. And we just braise them so they got nice and tender. Make sure we don't bring your bay leaves over. And I won't worry about too much of that. Look at that, just falling apart, falling apart. Love that. Obviously you can cut away the fat that you don't want that comes off of there that might be left. And other than that, like I said, this should be an easy breakdown and pull. Just give it a try with this one hand. Oh yeah. And I'm not gonna break this up too much, because with carnitas you actually kind of leave a little bit bigger bits of meat. But with one hand, I can quickly see that you can make short work of this. Yes, yes. And since it's house rules, you know, you get that house privilege. Let me try some of this. Look how tender and moist that is. Got that nice red benefit of getting that smoke in there, so we know that worked out. Good clean pork. I'm gonna break this down. Like I said, hit it with a little more of that taco seasoning over the top. Let this get crisp. It's gonna be a solid cornita right here. There we go. This is broke down super easy. Nice and flavorful. Lots of citrus. Can't be too mad at this. Just gonna spread this out a little bit. I'm gonna probably hit it with a dash of oil right from right there, just to make sure we don't get too much sticking. And we're gonna let it crisp up pretty much just like that. Let me grab that taco seasoning. There we go. If you could just smell this just a little. There we go. Give it one more little toss. Like I said, I will give it a splash of some juice, and we'll be about ready to go into that broiler. there. All this good flavor. One more. And we'll be more than good. Alright, let's get this in there. Shouldn't take too long with this broiler. Oh, I might have turned it the long way. Better. Let's get this closed up. Give it a couple minutes. Meanwhile, we're going to move right here to this skillet. Let's toast up some shells. Got my white onions cut up and some cilantro. This is heating up, and then we're just going to finish out with a few of these. Nice and warmed up. Won't take too long. Got me some beans and some rice. We should be good to go. And usually, your easy rule of thumb is once you start to see that getting a little bubble action going, be a good time to flip. And once you get the flip, the other side only takes a second. You can get him up off of there and go on to the next. Just gonna throw him right over here in the pile. And while that one's going, let's take a peek. Starting to see some of those. Let me see if I can get in there close. There we go. See some of those crunchy bits. That's what we're looking for. Some of that to oil to kind of crisp up a little bit. Just gonna give us a little bit more texture in that carnita. We're pretty much about ready. We can get that up off of here. All right, we out the pocket. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing going real simple. We'll take one of these, throw it there. Give me this. Give me some of these nice and crispy bits. Keep it simple. Good clean pork, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of fajita mix, and some of that special taco seasoning. Appreciate my peoples for getting us that. That looks like a decent amount. Then I'm just gonna slide over. All I want is some white onions on there. Mix that up. A little bit of cilantro. I'm gonna grab a lime and put that on there. And this first one, I'm going just like that, real basic. There we go. And now let me get us a bite. Okay, let me go ahead and add just a little bit of this green tapatio sauce here. Now I keep on coming back over here and getting some of this goodness. And I'm telling you right now, I'm having serious thoughts about maybe this being the best way to make my pulled pork moving forward. Takes a lot less time. I can get seasoning all the way around. I can easily take that thing up and get a whole lot more bark on each one of those pieces. And there's all type of things you can do when you break down that braised to get a whole lot of flavor in there. But these right here came out slamming, super tender and juicy, and I could not complain. With that nice taco seasoning that I was able to put in there that was homemade, gave it a whole lot of extra flavor right on top. Shouts out to my friends for giving me that one there. My peoples over there at Harder Charcoal and my boys over there at Black Smoke Barbecue, my family, and you out there at Barbecue Land for watching this video.